This is wonderful. There is the fundamental analysis that you can make, whether you're on the sell side or buy side. There is the technologist or techno-optimist view. And then there's the sort of romantic view of what AI can do for mankind. Very difficult for you, Ayako. Everything that we've just discussed, where do you start? With the fundamentals or what your heart tells you?
Absolutely. We always go back to the fundamentals, I think, when we're looking at a security. And I think we look back at history, too. I think there's a part of us, or some of us, that have witnessed some of this back in the 90s and early 2000 when the tech bubble burst. And so we're well aware of some of the risks that surround names that get hyped up from both the sentiment standpoint, even though the fundamentals may be there in order to support some of the overall enthusiasm around the stock.
The point that the Bloomberg story at the weekend made was that it's really hard to forecast or predict top-line growth for Nvidia right now. If you go back to the August quarter of 2023, which is when this kind of parabolic growth took off, revenue each quarter has come in on average 13% above what management guided. Now, as you know better than anyone, management teams can be a little conservative, even at the midpoint of the ranges when they guide. But it's still the math that you have to do. They point in this piece to the price to sales ratio being above 23, something like that. In any normal circumstance, I think, Ayako, people would be much more cautious than they are with Nvidia. Why are they not being so cautious, at least until this morning's session?
Absolutely. I think it's really difficult to really ascertain what the total addressable market really is for artificial intelligence. You could say that it continues to be growing, and so really trying to ascertain what that number is going to be in the long term is what is so difficult about valuing Nvidia right now. It used to be sort of a rule of thumb when I was growing up in this business that anything over 10 times price to sales was just too expensive, and at 23 times it's well above that. And so it does become very difficult, and it becomes more of a short-term guessing game in terms of supply and demand. Right now, demand outstrips supply, but as Parmi mentioned, if demand starts to wane a little bit and that equilibrium comes to fruition, I think it could be problematic for Nvidia.
Do investors get distracted from other potential opportunities because of all the sort of myopic focus on one name?
I think part of the reason why some of the utility companies have done so well recently is just all of the electricity demand that's being forecast for the data centers to really utilize the power that AI brings to all these servers and data centers. And you've seen sort of that secondary and tertiary derivative plays of artificial intelligence and Nvidia kind of come to the market. So we'll have to see where the true sort of opportunities are going forward now that so many sort of secondary and tertiary effects have really been played out a little bit. And we look back at history again with Nvidia, and there have been plenty of times in which the stock has come down over 50%. It's part of the volatility for the stock over the long term.